Good morning, good morning, good morning. We have who got in first? Let's see who. Kevin Gedker from Brainerd, Minnesota. From Brainerd. Like it's got to be a little chilly there today. Fort Wayne, Indiana, Nicole Allred. Top of the morning from Illinois and the rest of the day to you, Teresa Nelson. Good morning from New York, Lisa Savino, making her calls every day. Good morning from Glenwood, Iowa, Cindy Keel. Wonderful Wednesday morning from Visalia, California, Virginia Dean, drinking and sipping her coffee. Song of the day, Jimmy Buffett, Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitudes. Tim Kisters in the house. Good morning, Connecticut, Don McNary. Baton Rouge, Debbie Harding. St. Louis, Lori Williams, Catherine Lavelle. Seaverville, Tennessee. Cali, Jose Uriarte. Freeport, Bahamas, Donna Jones. Philly, Laura Woodard. Jamie Duke. Houston, Debbie Sanacor from West Palm Beach. Ooh, Texas. Midlothian? Midlothian. Is that really Midlothian? Wow, that sounds like a city from like the Three Rings. St. Louis, of course. Moments, Illinois. Linda Kraus. Yvonne Pinelli from Chapin, South Carolina. Good morning from Naperville, Illinois. Carrie O'Connor. Christy Crumley from Atlanta, Connecticut. Michelle Mayo. Costasville, no, Coatesville, excuse me, Pennsylvania, Kim Jones. How much snow do you have on the ground, Kim Jones? I heard PA got the blast, got the most. Heather Lemieux from Toronto, Canada. California is Lisa Hammond. Alita Saunders from Raleigh, North Carolina. St. Cloud, Florida is seeing some rain today with Andrea Burge. Gail Zientek from Michigan, and onward and upward and upward and onward. So, good stuff. So, you guys are becoming better photographers. Have you noticed that? Your morning photographs are getting better. Like the color's getting better, the lighting is getting better. I mean, this might be the best batch we've ever done. If you really look at it from the aspect of um, like look at these photos. Like look at those colors. Look at how about that timing? Is that just not the coolest picture? You know? And the rooftop snow and the sun bulb. And look at this. Okay, how many of you want to be right there? Right? That's a great picture. 30 mornings by you. And then we have this. I mean, look at that. That has to be a sunset photo, but we're gonna take it. um, so good stuff. I mean, that kind of represents what we're all about right here, right? You know, so just gorgeous pictures. Awesome job, and even some turkeys, right? I'll have to tell you a story about that if you guys remind me down the road. You'll have to. Okay, I'll tell it right now. So. Um, I'm from Kansas, and my wife is from Kansas, and we're going along on 56 Highway, and so we're just kind of chatting about things, and we're actually chatting about like what they call like lots of things, right? We're talking about like the community, we're talking about our generosity generation like all the time, right? And it's just like what do they call a big community? Like when it's a fish, it's a school, right? School of fish. And when it's a bunch of cows, it's a herd, right? And when it's like a bunch of wolves, it's a pack. So we were just kind of talking about that, and we drove and we saw a big fat turkey, like a wild turkey on the side of the road. And Sherry, my wife, goes, "Well, what? I wonder what they call a bunch of turkeys." And without missing a beat, I go, "Oh, that's called a suit art." And she didn't laugh as much as I thought. But suit art, Soetaeart, which I always pronounce sweetheart, is suit art is her maiden name. So a bunch of turkeys is called a soutard, in case anybody ever asks you. So anyway, so they're done, done, right? So Cheryl Lee is our winner today, and this literally, I swear, she had to take this like out of the frame. This is, I mean, my mom would love to paint that picture. Look at that picture. That is, there's something about that that's just amazing, right? So today is Savers Day, and we have, look at how far we've come on this path, right? So silence, meditation, prayer, breathing, we've done it, right? Affirmations and appreciation, encouraging words and appreciation for what we have in our life, visualization, imagining ourselves doing each thing step by step that you need to do to accomplish your goals. And then imagine the feeling at the end when you're successful. Exercise, we've had the last couple of days have been on exercise. Um, and yesterday we actually did it, right? We went through the exercise. We did some body weight exercises, not just for 5 minutes, but actually for 7 minutes. Anybody sore today? Anybody sore? I was glad to find out that I was not sore. It did feel good. Well, today we're going to talk about reading, and specifically, we're going to talk about Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents and how to incorporate reading into your morning ritual. And I have to tell you that this is the one place that I have needed a timer, right? So if you have Siri, I'm not sure if Android phones have the instant reminder, but like with Siri, I could, like right now, I could say, "Hey Siri, remind me to stop in 15 minutes. Remind me to stop reading." Right? So then 15 minutes later, I'll be done reading. Because otherwise, I don't know if you guys are like this or not, but I love to read. I don't read, I devour. So reading is powerful. Reading, I mean, honestly, you'll be the same person you are now in 5 years, um, except for the people you meet, the books you read, and the things you do, right? So the books you read are a big, big part of changing who you are. And I have to tell you, I'm a person that is of average intelligence, average, a sub-average background, right? And I've accomplished some wonderful things in my life. And a big reason for that is because of reading and learning and putting it into play. And then, here's the thing, right? So just on the last S of scribing that we're going to cover tomorrow is it, let's say you're at Starbucks and, you're looking around Starbucks because Starbucks is a pretty good place to people watch. And you're watching people come and go. You're watching people come and go. And you see a gentleman walk in and, he's wearing jeans and he's kind of wearing like a sweater. Um, and, his hair looks decent. It's obviously kind of takes care of himself. And he sits down and he just sits with his cup of coffee and starts playing on his phone, right? And then you see a similar looking gentleman, and he walks in. He's got, jeans on. He's got a sweater on. It's obviously, that he cuts his hair and keeps care of himself. And he goes through the line. He gets a Starbucks, and then he sits down and opens up a journal and thanks, and then starts writing. What what is the difference between those two guys? What are you, even though this is your first impression and we can't, jump to judgment, so to speak, but let's people guess, right? We're people watching. What what do you think about the two gentlemen, right? Is there anything that you would think differently between the two people? Yeah. One is present while the other one might be easily distracted. Yeah. One is intellectual, right? One is a thinker and a learner. One is an observer of life, and the other perhaps makes life happen, right? One seems more purposeful, disciplined. The first one wasting time, the other one is concentrated and focused. More industrial, the second one is intentional. One has a purpose, being intentional. One is a thinker. One has a vision, makes this life. The other is life happening to him. Wow, that's awesome. The one with the journal is probably more success oriented and driven and makes the best use of time. The one who's writing is purposeful. Yeah, a self awareness, right? Yeah, do we know what the phone guy is doing on his phone? The answer is no, right? And that's, I mean, that's part of people watching, right? Is you kind of just, I mean, I've even done it where with Sherry and Max there, I'll actually fake conversations, right? So I'll actually like make up conversations based on like what I judge from their behavioral style and their mannerisms and their clothes, and it's kind of fun. Um, so here's the thing, right? Is um, there is a difference in what we think about the two people, right? I mean, and I'll just, how about this? There's a difference between the way I think about the two people. If I am sitting there, and I've done this many, many times. I'm not sure if there's a Starbucks in an airport in the United States that I have not frequented, that I have not been at. And I will tell you, I've had that happen where a guy will sit down or a female will sit down, and instead of jumping right into the world of their phone, they open up a journal and they're writing, right? And I mean, so my judgment on that, I leap to judgment, unfortunately, and that is that person is successful, right? Not necessarily comparing them to somebody else, but, and you can just tell that the more reflective person is more successful. The more reflective person is more successful because they're reflecting, instead of letting life happen to them, they're going to be more proactive, right? So, bottom line is there's a lot of power to having a journal. But first things first, today, you got up at 15 minutes or 45 minutes earlier than the start time. Congratulations, that's awesome. R is for reading today, and I have to share, yoga with Adrienne. A lot of people have already discovered this. Yesterday's app was called the 7 Minute Workout, and we had mentioned Yoga Camp and Yoga with Adrienne and Raquel Horfer, and so yesterday was called the 7 Minute Workout for those of you that wanted to download that. Today's day 17. Hopefully you're finding it a little easier to get up. Um, and today it should have been like pretty good. Tomorrow gonna be awesome. Friday, maybe even waking up before the alarm. Truly. Saturday, um, it may be tough to sleep in. Sunday, you may accidentally sleep in. Monday uh, is going to be tougher, and Tuesday is going to be tough. But you're going to make it no matter what, right? So, reading. My suggestion that your morning reading should be nonfiction. Whatever you read during your nightly ritual, have at it, right? You want to read 50 Shades of Grey, or if you want to read um, Tom Clancy, or if you want to read, Richard Grisham or Stephen King or whatever it may be, then I would consider that your night reading. In the morning, I would read nonfiction. Now, I read nonfiction all the time, but I also probably should have more fiction, right? I should probably read more fiction. Um, so, if you were to recommend a book to read, nonfiction book, during someone's morning ritual, what book or books would you recommend? What's your number one book that you recommend for people to read during the morning, like as they're getting ready to start their day? You guys are a bunch of brown nosers. I just want you, and I love that, by the way. Um, yeah, so here's the list of books for you guys that want to make a list of books, right? These are the top of the top people. So these books are powerful suggestions, right? Success is not an accident, by my buddy Tommy Newberry, right? The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. Zig Ziglar, right? Anything Zig, and Mary Craddock says that. Tom Kinnaman says 7L, right? Tom is an extremely smart man. The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. That's another great one. Andy's a good buddy, and spoke with Andy at the end of last year. And phenomenal speaker, great guy. The Traveler's Gift is my favorite book by him. 7 Levels, Mary Craddock, obviously an extremely intelligent young lady. Jennifer Hatcher, The Power of Now. Think and Grow Rich, absolutely, Arlene Quirk. Gail Zientik says Promptings by Cody Bateman. Had a great call with Super Dave Smith yesterday, Gail Zientik. Think and Grow Rich, Christine Jones. The Four Agreements, another great book. These are great books. Bible is a great go-to in the morning. The Desire Map by Don Merrick. I'm actually not familiar with that book. 7L, Lois Donnelly is an extremely intelligent and successful person, obviously. I can judge by the books she suggests. The Power of Focus, Wendy Brown. So which Power of Focus is that, Wendy? Is it the one by Canfield, or is it the one by the Blue Book? Yeah, I can't remember the author. 1,000 Gifts by Ann Voskamp, Melinda says. Mary Craddock also suggests the Bible. MMREA and 7 Levels, Catherine Lavelle, is also an extremely smart, intelligent, good-looking, awesome human being. The Slight Edge by Maurice Koester. The Four Agreements, another one. A Return to Love with Pam Brewer. Yes, we're going to actually quote from Marianne's book on Friday. Rhinoceros Success, Fred Collis. Lorena Yao says A Purpose-Driven Life as well. The Bible and the Go-Giver, Shauna Fraser with Bob Berg, another buddy of mine. It's amazing the buddies I've made in the last 5 years. It's amazing. Miguel, anything by Don Miguel Ruiz, right? Ruiz. Sherry Carnicle says absolutely, right? Four Agreements, the Fifth Agreement. Lots of books he's come out with. All You Can Do Is All You Can Do, but All You Can Do Is Enough by Kirk Brewer, said Kirk Brewer. Virginia Dean says 7L is the one I suggest, and then Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, a good one. Bible, yes. How to Network with the Rich and Powerful, Al Williams, yes. 7 Levels of Communication with Jeannie DiCarlo. Anne Marie Clement says 7 Levels. People Work by said Michelle Mayo. I don't know Michelle Mayo if you knew it, but Chris has come out with a new book called The Conversion Code. If you guys are part of my weekly WOW, which is words of wisdom on like different subjects, you get a referral tip a week essentially. You can sign up for that just by going to the giftofgenerosity.com, giftofgenerosity.com. Download the interview that's there, and when you download the interview, you are actually automatically signed up for the weekly WOW if you're interested in that. I'm going to have an announcement today on the weekly WOW. So good books, good answers. So I want to dive into the Miracle Morning for real estate agents a little bit. So I'm guessing all of you have finished MMREA, right? I'm guessing you've finished Miracle Morning for real estate agents. Some of you finished it twice. Bottom line is hopefully at this point you can recommend and talk about this book maybe as well as any book, right? Because you've been in a book club with it, which it's amazing how much more powerful it is to read a book in a book club format, right? So here's the thing, right? Is I want to dive into one piece of it But you know what? I've asked this before, but we didn't really dive into it. We didn't talk about it. What is your biggest aha from Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents? Right? What was your biggest aha? Right? Liz Smith, Ann Weaver, Christine Storms, Anne Marie Lucido, Teresa Nelson, Joanne Donahue, Carrie O'Connor, Jeannie DiCarlo. You know what? What was your biggest aha? Like there was a lot of stuff in there, right? I mean, there's 7 things to add to your routine. There's you know, lots of stuff, right? So what what was your biggest like wow, you know what? Wow, that hit me. That hit home, right? So here are some of the answers that we're getting. How my morning starts is how my day will go, right? That was the biggest aha, right? Karen Hall, and I want you to say, okay, tell me, how did your morning change based on that aha, right? When you wake up happy, good things just happen. Linda Krause. Yeah, so Linda, I want to know, like, how are you helping yourself wake up happier, right? Gail Zientik says the power of routine. So Gail, what's your routine, right? What is your routine? There's power in routine. So how did you adapt your life to include more routine, right? Letting go of negative thoughts and going positive. So Sharmini, I'm guessing that the affirmations and appreciations have been huge for you, right? So you tell me what, and maybe even the visualization and vision board, right? So Shar, what did you change, right? What did you do differently? Joanne Donahue says, my wasted time and money. So, you know, Joanne, what's that mean, right? What, instead of wasting time, what did you waste time and money on? And now what are you going to save money on, right? Yeah, Tim Kister says that even the best of us can get lazy and we have the ability to get back in the saddle. Absolutely. The total visualization process, the whole thing from beginning to end, says Sarah Chattel, and I'm guessing Peter is right next to her. My days have more structure when I begin them earlier. Yeah. You can go from depressed to success, right? Very quickly. And that is the truth, right? That is, I mean, maybe not depressed, but at the very least groggy, right? Um, yeah, 90 to 95% of all CEOs get up before 6 a.m. And you run a business. You are in charge of You Incorporated. So you might as well treat yourself as a CEO of You Incorporated because you are. So, and I'm not sure if that stat's 6 a.m. It might be 6 a.m. Own your morning, own your day. Absolutely. Jeannie DiCarlo, so how are you owning your morning? What are you doing differently? Yeah. How you start your morning and what you do matters. Tony Scarpero, absolutely, right? Being intentional, AM equals another miracle. Absolutely. I've been saying that for years and really lived that one morning on December 18th, 2007. Um, yeah, go get it no matter what, Paul Cervani, right, says. The bigger success was wrapped in rising earlier, right? Nick Shoemaker says. You know, here's the deal, right? Everybody's like, I wish there were 25 hours in a day. And, you know, I've said this before on these calls is we found it, right? We found it. It's the hour before you normally get up. That's the extra hour. Now, I've also said that, listen, the Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agent, the 30 mornings is not about getting up earlier. It's about getting up better, right? Um, so it's one of those where it's about your self-improvement that you do. Like what do you do in that hour? And what you do during this hour makes you more efficient the rest of the time, right? So here are 3 simple and decisive steps that you can join the successful top 5%. Unfortunately, 95% of the population struggles, right? They struggle to make ends meet. They struggle with um, their mental attitude. They struggle with wealth, they struggle with health, they struggle with happiness. And there are 3 simple decisive steps that you can take to join that top 5%. And many of you are in the top 5%, so you get it. But this is a good reminder of, how do we stay there and how do we continue to ramp it up, level up, and become better, right? So the first step is to decide to be in the top 5%, right? I'm just going to be in the top 5%. And it's like with every decision comes consequences. You may want to write that down. With every decision comes consequences. And that's the truth, right? So if you're going to decide to be in the top 5% and not be in the 95% who struggle, you are now determining that you are going to be different. You're going to be weird. You're going to be different. And if you're going to be different, you might as well be better, right? You are going to get into growth mode for the rest of your life. Well, here's the thing, is you are going to have friends. You are going to have maybe lifelong friends who are not in growth mode. They are in fixed mode, or I'm pretty happy where I'm at mode, or I'm going to be a leaf in the wind and be reactive in life mode, right? You're going to have to spend more time with people in the top 5% to become a top 5%er. The more time you spend with the successful, the more successful you'll be. And you should always be playing up, right? You should always be meeting up. When you meet up, you should meet up. You should meet people more successful than you. So the biggest thing is just this, you're going to be in the top 5%, and that's going to cause some rift. It's going to cause some stress in your life. But you're going to have some stress now for less stress later. And the big thing here is, why to try to fit in when you're born to stand out, right? Period. Next, you need to identify and avoid the 7 causes of mediocrity. And I'm going to list these out for you, right? These are, of course, in MMREA, and these segments are kind of spread out throughout the book. But one is rear view mirror syndrome. And this is essentially you think that the past determines the future, right? And the truth is your past does not determine your future. My past, oh my gosh, if my past would determine my future, then my future wouldn't be very bright, right? I mean, so bottom line here is, get your eyes out of the rearview mirror and keep them on the windshield, right? You need to focus. I mean, here's the thing. You look at a car, you look at the windshield, and you look at the rearview mirror. Which is bigger, the windshield or the rearview mirror? Yeah. So if you want a bigger life, if you want a bigger look, if you want to see more things, then you need to look out the windshield and get your eyes off the rearview mirror. Check the rearview mirror every once in a while to be reflective. That's your journal time, right? And then the rest of it, you're going to look forward. Next is unclear purpose. And I will tell you with this one is this happens all the time. Richard Branson went through a time where his purpose was not clear, But here's the thing. Choose a clear purpose for today, right? What's your purpose today? I hope you guys saw my post in 30mornings.com, right? 30 Mornings. I posted about having a clear purpose for business and for lead generation, right? Someone somewhere in my city needs my services. Today, I will find that person no matter what. I will hunt and search and analyze the clues, and I will hunt it down like a private investigator, looking for his own kid, looking for his own pet. I will literally turn over every rock. I will not stop. I will not get tired. I will exhaust myself to find that person because I know that they should work with me. If they don't work with me, I imagine them being drug off into the woods by the wolves and being torn to shreds by the hardcore closers and the ones who don't have their best interest at heart. When they work with me, they get integrity, they retain their dignity, and it will be a partnership in the process. I will find that person today. I must. So, what's your purpose? Next, isolating incidents. What we think is what I eat right now or what I do right now has no impact on the future. And unfortunately, our life is one giant domino effect. And I have to tell you, this is a big aha for a lot of my coaching clients, is that, the opposite of isolating incidents is time blocking, right? Time blocking is a purposeful, proactive step. And I don't mean time blocking every hour or every minute of your day. I mean at least having a loose time block of what you're going to get done and a list of 3 to 5 things you're going to get done, and then focus and quit making the excuse of I'll start tomorrow, right? All right. Lack of accountability. This is one of the most powerful ones, and this is where the coaching industry was born, right? But here's the thing about the lack of accountability is if there's a place where you have not been able to do it on your own, then get somebody else, right? Get somebody else to help you or get somebody else to do it. And that's it. I mean, that's the secret to success is at this point in your life, quit trying to become accountable, right? Become accountable to whatever that is. Like for me, health and fitness, right? I need a trainer. I need a trainer. I always need a trainer. I need a nutritionist. So bottom line is I need accountability when it comes to health and fitness at this point in my life, right? Mediocre sphere of influence. Quit hanging out with ducks, start hanging out with eagles. That's all I'm going to say. Insufficient personal development. Yeah, this is the one where what's funny is that you don't know you have this until you have this, right? That's what's so powerful about this statement is that what it is it's just like there's a lack of awareness. But when you have personal development, you are into self-improvement, you start reading these books and you start journaling and you start being reflective and purposeful, what happens is you see the world from a different way and you become far more interesting to the world. And the more interesting you are, the more valuable you are. And the more valuable you are, the more the universe will pay you and compensate you for that value, right? So continue to develop personally and become a self-improvement freak, right? Can constantly look to it. Now, it's not saying that you aren't enough. You are enough, and what you find is you're more than enough. You're more than powerful, right? It's developing your superpowers, right? So lack of sense of urgency has to be one of the biggest. I mean, this is one of the biggest problems with sons and daughters of realtors, right? The main realtor did a phenomenal job, or the millionaire, right? The person who founded the business and ran the business. Well, the kid comes in and a lot of times can destroy the business, right? Because they don't have the same work ethic, or more importantly, the reason they don't have the same work ethic is because they have a lack of a sense of urgency. And in real estate, listen, you will get buried if you don't have a sense of urgency. So, up your sense of urgency. All right. And then the last one is the big one, right? Draw your line in the sand. Commit. Start saying things like, I will call you at noon on Friday, no matter what. Watch how the conversation changes when you make a promise at that level. People will count on you. They will trust you, and the more they trust you, then the more it'll happen. And here's the thing is commit, right? Commit to showing up to this webinar every single day. We're about 10 people down today, right? 10 less people decided to show up, right? And that's no reflection on any of us, right? So it's bottom line is commit, no matter what airport you in, no matter what country you're in, you make it happen. And here's the thing, right? What is your freedom date? What's your date that you're going to commit? If it's health, what's the date you're going to commit to the plan, right? And today, when is today your freedom date? That's the question, right? So those are the three simple, decisive steps to join the top 5%. What do you think? Thoughts on those three things? Are you taking the steps? Yeah, a lot of you say, I'm already weird. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I think a big one is spouse, right? Sometimes we have an issue with a spouse, but the thing is we have to take personal responsibility for our success no matter what. The the spouse is no longer an excuse, ladies and gentlemen, right? And I know a lot of you maybe don't have that problem, right? But in a lot of cases, something happened, right? One of you decided to go down the self-improvement path and the other one didn't. But let me tell you what happens is that you go down this self-improvement path and you're on this journey, and what happens is at first your spouse or the people close to you will rebel. They will become naysayers. They really will. In fact, they even may try to sabotage you. But you're going to keep going. There's no obstacle. You're going to make it, you're going to make it happen. And here's the thing, right? Is all of a sudden there's a wake up call in their life. There's a wake up call. And the good that made you marry them in the very beginning starts to come out. It starts to come out, and they notice how much happier you are, and they notice that how they treat you doesn't have any effect on you, so they start treating you better, right? And and what happens here is all of a sudden you're going to see them sneaking around with a book, maybe even MMREA. You're going to see them like journaling, like maybe they even hide it from you. But the thing is that you can bring them on the journey with you. Now you can't drag them, right? You just got to keep going. And if they catch up, they catch up. If they don't, that's okay too. But just keep going, keep growing. It's your life. It's your damn life, right? Bottom line is take it on no matter what, that you're just going to keep going, right? So bottom line here is that um, you know is watch your IMs and watch your mys, right? And and I think get when you catch yourself saying something that is a limiting belief or a bad belief is say I used to be, right? I used to be a bad eater. Now, today, I'm becoming a better eater. Yesterday, I didn't have that attitude about chasing and getting and just doing whatever it took to find a new client. Today, I'm going to get a little bit better at being a rainmaker and being a super producer, right? So yeah, I have some success stories on here from, Arlene Quirk is, I just kept going and now my husband is joining me to exercise and even reading some, right? So some of you needed to hear some things today. And the bottom line is you are the beautiful ones. You are the successful ones. You are the superheroes and the super producers, and you have it in you. You're good enough. You're smart enough. You're in the right country, and everything is laid out for you to be as successful as possible. So you can do it. It won't be easy, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? There wouldn't be a 95% 5% separation. So the bottom line here is that you can do it, right? You are the one. Nick Shoemaker, why all the question marks? Why all the question marks, right? So you can do it. All right, so next, favor please. You've read MMREA. I almost said 7L. I've said 7L so many times in my life. You've read 7L. I've said that a lot. So I'm going to ask you for a favor. On Amazon.com, if you could review MMREA, and please 5-star it if you feel it earns it. And if you don't mind mentioning 30mornings.com and or hashtag 30mornings, if you've gotten value from this course, right, I would appreciate it if you would review MMREA, right? Remember, in the book, it talks about a 30-day challenge. And listen, you're 17 days through the 30-day challenge. You're rocking it, right? So in your Freedom Journal, make sure that you note what your number one focus is for the day. And by the end of the day, what you will have accomplished. Those are the two biggest slots in that journal. Action, get up 45 minutes earlier. We did it. Do your silence, affirmations, appreciations, visualization, exercise, and reading. And aren't you starting to feel the power of having a morning ritual, of getting up and doing something that's the same each and every day? Aren't you feeling that? You know? Now, today you're going to write in your Freedom Journal. You're going to share your photos and tag 30 mornings. They're so inspiring. So many people are loving that. Download the Kindle app for your iPhone or your iPad. If you are an Amazon peep, there's a Kindle Apple Kindle app. And then also, please do me a favor, review MMREA on Amazon if you have a couple minutes. And then tomorrow, our 30 mornings webinar is at 4:15 Pacific, 7:15 Eastern. Once again, 45 minutes earlier than the start time, but now it's easy, right? We're getting there. Great job. You rock. So appreciated. So appreciate you. And you can do it. You are part of the 5%. If you're not now, you will be part of the 5%. You can do it. It's your life. Take charge. Take control. You are 100% control of your time. You are in 100% control of your success. You are in 100% control of your life. So take control, take responsibility, and move forward and onward and upward. You're the best. I appreciate you. I hope you have the best day ever, and we'll see you tomorrow. You're the best.